Hey everybody, how's it going? Unfortunately, today I have to report the death of my used Audio-Technica 4050. I have done my best to clean the capsule here, and it has just degraded and become even worse. It has been about 13 and a half years now since I professionally worked on audio gear, and I have clearly lost my touch. I really do miss this thing. It's kind of like, this sounds like an AKG 414 at half the price, and unlike the 414, it actually remembers the settings that you put on it. They don't go away when you turn off phantom power like a 414 does, but I really did like this thing, and it is unfortunately dead. Mr. Clinton used to love attacking it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he sneezed into it or something. Anyway, so I'm using a DPA 4065 now. It doesn't sound as good as this one, but I'm too cheap to replace this thing. But this is a really nice microphone, Audio-Technica 4050. If you're thinking of using an AKG 414, try one of these things. It sounds almost the same, and it's half the price. So today I would like to go over Linus from Linus Tech Tips, the idea of luck when it comes to success, and saltiness from people that kind of look at what people like him have managed to do or accomplish. So this comes from a video that somebody posted. I actually thought it was a funny video, but the video is not the point. It's called Linus versus Lewis. In this video, I'm opening the Framework laptop, and I am admiring the fact that they made the cable in a way for this keyboard and trackpad where when you open the machine, you're not ripping it. I am used to machines that are designed like shit. I work on Apple products almost exclusively, so I'm almost exclusively experienced with products that are designed like shit. And the A1534 MacBook is a particular machine where when you open it, the cable, it doesn't unfold like this. It actually unfolds from side to side in this weird way, and it slits itself in half if you actually try to take the palm rest out to a certain amount. You actually have to open it halfway, sneak in there with your freaking tweezers, disconnect it, and then take it off. Because if you take it off like this, you'll actually rip it. And I was commenting that I actually like the way this was designed. This was designed so well that even someone at the Genius Bar is not going to rip it. And then, Linus opened it and popped the cable. I don't think he ripped it, but he, the cable, it was actually pretty strong, but he did pop it out, which, again, on an A1534 would have broken it. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Linus for that. You can look at my live channel. There are boards that have literally gone on fire, and many of you have probably watched as they've gone on fire while I was working on them and had a little sad violin music playing. I think I have it in my 2019 Rossmann Rewind video, and there was one time where the fire actually went all the way up to my nose. That was kind of scary. I've screwed up things too. It's all part of life. But it was a funny little video, and somebody decided to take what was a funny little video. Admittedly, I thought it was kind of a low blow, but a funny little video, and go full salt on it. And I just kind of wanted to read their comment and talk about it a little bit. Now, I get into a lot of trouble on this channel, often with people that are a little bit more politically to my left, who say that I am a case of survivorship bias, that I believe that simply because I was able to go from being broke to having a business, that everybody can be able to have a business with 14 employees and a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's a little on the straw man side. That's not what I say. What I do tend to say is that if you have this person's mindset that I'm going to read, that you are less likely to be successful than if you don't have that mindset. I can't tell you that you're going to be successful in life. I can't tell you that you're going to make a lot of money. I can't tell you that you're going to be financially free. I'm not guaranteeing that. What I'm saying is that even if you were a person who was set up with a 90% chance of being screwed, that the one thing I can guarantee you as a fact is that if you have this person's mindset, you go from having a 90% chance of being fucked to a 100% chance of being fucked. And that last 10% really does matter, and it doesn't do you any good. And it's easy to fall into the mindset I'm going to read here. I had this mindset between the age of 17 and 23, and I really just kind of wish I could go into a time machine and go back to teenage, the 23-year-old me and just beat him senseless. But that's not a thing. So let's read this. It says, let's be real here. The dude is a genius dum-dum. He got rich finding other people to make content for him. And all he has to do is show up every now and then and drop a $10,000 CPU or act like he cares that his employees took a $5 paperweight while he films other companies paying to upgrade his and his employees' computer setups 4 times a year. And I said, if it's this easy, I look forward to watching you recreate his success by doing the same thing. And people will always have this snide response to something like this. Oh no, Lewis, I'm not that lucky. I definitely have the drive. I have the drive, just not the luck or the connection. And, this is something that I see people say all the time. What they're doing when they say this is they're removing any contributions that they could make to their own success in life. They're removing any agency they have over it. Does luck have something to do with success? Sure. And I'm sure there are times that you could objectively prove this rather than it just being something subjective out there. If you have someone who is 20 years old and attractive, and they wind up having sex with their 90-year-old billionaire boss, and then the next day that billionaire boss gets married to the 20-year-old, and then the next day that billionaire boss dies, and the attractive 20-year-old just so happens to now be a billionaire. You know, that's kind of luck. Or someone, you know, they buy a lotto ticket, and on their first play of the lotto, they win, and the next day they're worth $800 million. Yeah, okay, objectively speaking, that's luck. But then you get into the subjective nature of it, and the problem with this is that I see people that make it that they really make it easy to just kind of hand wave away what people actually did to become successful. And again, I cannot guarantee you that you will be as successful as someone who does the same thing that you may do. You're not going to just follow in the footsteps of somebody else who did something and become as successful as they are. But I do want to point out something that I find to be important, which is A, the people that do this completely ignore what it is that actually contributed to making the person that they are claiming was only lucky successful, and B, every single time I have heard this excuse used by someone who said, I have the drive. When I do the research and I look into what they're doing with their life, they are doing nothing. It's just this really funny pattern that I always notice, and I don't even want to pick on this individual individually, because this is a pattern that applies to many people. Many people that I used to know personally, many people that I see online. It's an archetype. It's not even just one person who does this. So if we were to take a look at this, let's just take a click. You know, we click on that profile. We'll see 16 subscribers with one video that was posted 10 years ago. I definitely have the drive. I'm confident that you have the same drive as Linus for creating content online from the one video that you posted from 10 years ago. This is an appealing mindset because it appeals to people's narcissism and their vanity. Nobody wants to believe that they have control over certain aspects of their life if that also means that they are in control of the fact that they failed rather than somebody else being, or some other something out in the ether there called luck being in control of it. And the reality is you may not actually be in control of whether or not you do fail in life. But one thing that I can guarantee you is that if you take on this mindset, that you are way more likely to fail than otherwise, because you're not going to focus on what it is you actually do have control over. And the elements of your life that you do have control over do matter. They don't mean that you are going to become as successful or as famous or as rich or any of those things, but you will be closer to it if you work on what you do have control over than if you just toss your hands up in the air and give up altogether. And when you take a look at this gentleman's page, it is very easy to tell that he has taken the toss hands up in the air and give up approach, because when you look at it, there's nothing on it. This mindset appeals to people's narcissism and their vanity. I would be just as successful. I would be a millionaire with 50 employees and millions of subscribers all over the world and all this other stuff. But I don't have this one thing, so yeah, but I definitely would have had that. You know, I'm just as driven. I'm just as hardworking. I'm just as skilled. It's only this one thing. And further, many people are afraid of change. Many people are nervous and afraid of failure. If you give people an out to where, well, you know, here's why you shouldn't bother trying, so that they don't actually experience the humiliation of trying to do something and failing, they're going to take that out, which is why I don't like giving people that out. I don't like allowing people to be okay with convincing themselves that it's not even worth trying. It's not even worth it because there's no way I could ever make it to this point anyway, so why even ever bother putting in the effort? It's one of the reasons that I keep up my early board repair videos that absolutely sucked and don't unlist them or private them or delete them like any sane person with a business would. It's why I keep up all the old crap, or I fail and do something stupid. I want you to see that I am willing to repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly fail if it means that at the very least I'm doing something, that I'm tossing something at the wall to see what sticks, rather than just sitting here and going, I'm so driven and so smart and so skilled, it's just that nobody has noticed me yet. One of the things that bothers me about this is that what they are not doing is they're not focusing on any of the character traits or any of the struggles or any of the journeys that you go on to actually get to a particular point of success. it has nothing to do with the fact that Linus comes up with really entertaining ways to explain himself. It has nothing to do with the fact that Linus has worked for over 10 or 15 years to be a really, really good orator, someone that is a good public speaker, someone that's good at explaining things, someone that's good at keeping you engaged. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's worked on having a likable and funny personality. Again, you may not like him. 14 million people disagree with that. None of that. You just kind of hand wave it away. When you say luck, what you're doing is you're making it very easy to hand wave away anything that you could do, anything that you could do to contribute to your own chances of success. Because there's no limiting principle here. You could apply this to anyone and anything. I would be here, but that person is just lucky. I could, there's no point in me trying to do this because that person was successful because of luck. And that's what it eventually turns into. It turns into why should I even bother trying, doing anything? Because that person simply got there because of luck. When we look at things like presentation skills, I think that Linus has top-notch presentation skills, and he's a great orator. For me, it took a lot for me to improve to where I am today. I don't think I'm as good an orator as Linus is, but if you just take a look at the videos that I did in the very beginning, I mean, these videos were shit. Like, the presentation was horrible. I wasn't able to hold a thought process together. I didn't really understand how to project my voice in any way, shape, or form, or provide emphasis on certain areas of a conversation. These videos did not really have good presentation skills. I think that I'm better at it now. But when you take a look at something like Linus's Right to Repair video that he did a few months ago. Why did I say a few years ago? That's weird. Anyway, if you take a look at this video that Linus did a few months ago, I mean, Linus is not really super hyper involved in Right to Repair, and he explained the issue better than I have in any video that I've ever done. Even if you take away all the fancy editing and the nice fancy camera and all that, just the way that he was able to present it was really well. And, when you say that everything is luck, are you working on improving your presentation skills? Are you working on being more likable? Are you working on it, even just producing content at all? You probably not, because you've ascribed it all to luck. So you're not actually focusing on what it is that you can control. You're all focused on what you can't control. And you're letting what you can control what you do with your life. Or let's just take an example from somebody that sent me a letter 5 years ago. So about 5.5 years ago, I got a letter from a 16-year-old kid that saw my videos and thought it was kind of cool. So we decided to start slowly putting together a setup with some crappy equipment, and that slowly got better over time, and to just find some machines that he could work on just so that he can get started doing something like what I did. And he is now 21 years old, and he doesn't have a channel with 1 million subscribers. He doesn't have a channel with 1.6 million. But you know what he has? He has a channel with 7,750 subscribers. That's 7,750 subscribers more than zero. He does not have a business with 14 or 12 employees in a major city. You know what he has? He has a business with a couple of employees with a 5-star rating on Google reviews and 5 stars on Yelp. He doesn't have 1,100 reviews like I do on Google, but he has 61, and they're 5 stars. That's 61 reviews more than zero. He has a website and a successful business. Is he making as much money as I may have been making 2 years ago? Pre-move, but is he making as much net profit as I was 2 years ago? Maybe not, but he's making enough money that he doesn't have to work minimum wage like many teenagers do when they're working to establish themselves in the workplace. He has his own business that pays himself enough that he doesn't have to go work at a grocery store.
Here it is. I thought I was a comedian. Evidently, I also work at a grocery store. Holy shit, I can't believe I forgot my apron. God damn it, was I working tonight? I should have checked the schedule.
But one area where I am truly proud of him, above all else, is that he teaches a course in MacBook repair. His course costs $500 more than mine. And in the past 3 months, he has had more students go to his course than I have had go to my course in the past 30 months. He teaches a course with Gesso, which is mostly him doing the teaching with MacBook repair, and more people go to his course than go to mine. And I'm fucking proud of him for it. I wish I could have been there for the course where he had 10 people show up. I couldn't because I was dealing with some insurance crap, and I missed it by just a couple of days. And I'm really, really pissed and disappointed in myself that I couldn't see him teaching a full class of 10 people how to do something like that, that all chose to go there because he's good at what he does. I'm fucking proud of him. Now, think about it. Again, does he have the subscriber count I do? No. Does he have the review count I do? No. But I also had a 7-year head start on him. But what he does have is more than what he would have had he looked at that video in 2015 or 2016 and said, yeah, I mean, that's just luck. You know, it was lucky that he got to the front page of Reddit, which, by the way, I front page Reddit for the first time when I had about just as many subscribers as he does now. Oh, yeah, that was just luck that he managed to get mentioned by this news organization. If he had said that, maybe he would have done what this other guy did, which is nothing. And what would happen if he had done nothing? What would happen if he had ascribed everything that I got to luck? Maybe he wouldn't have tried. Maybe he wouldn't do anything at all. You know what would happen if he had done nothing at all? He would have 0 subscribers on YouTube. He would have 0 reviews on any social media platform. He would have 0 people coming to his class instead of 10 people coming to his paid class. And he would have 0 business, no website, no nothing, because he didn't try. Let's just make the assumption for a moment that 100% of what I have accomplished in life, 100% of what I have, is luck. The fact that I have smart employees, 100% luck. The fact that I'm good at what I do, 100% luck. My reputation, 100% luck. Me being noticed on any social media platform, 100% luck. Having a beautiful black cat, all luck, no skill, no work whatsoever. Let's just make that assumption for a moment. How does that serve Tim? How does that serve the person that's thinking about what they could do with their own life? How does that serve him so that he doesn't wind up working
at a grocery store?
No offense to people who do work at grocery stores, by the way. What does that do for him? And this is something that I think should be the focal point of the video. How do your thoughts serve you? How do your words serve you? Do you think about how your thoughts or your words serve you when you're speaking them? Because they matter. Luck might have something to do with why people become successful. But when you ascribe all of it to luck, what you do is you take away what you actually do have control over. And you have control over a little bit more than you think. You may have grown up in an environment, you may be in a place in your life where you are genuinely, truly, hopelessly fucked. Maybe 99% hopelessly fucked. To rob yourself of the 1% that you do have control over with this mindset is a shit thing to do. And it's something that I did from the age of about 17 to 23. There were people in this business that got featured in the news that didn't even know how to replace an iPhone 3 screen. And I would just sit there going, yeah, if only I had the luck that that guy had. There were people in this industry that got bought out by Allstate after getting funded by Y Combinator and all sorts of stuff like that that didn't know how to replace a fuse in a motherboard. Worth tens of millions of dollars. Never touched a soldering station. Bought out by Allstate. And I looked at that and like, yeah, guess it's not, I'm not that lucky. I mean, what can I do? And in some way, I was correct. These people did have certain streaks of luck. But what could I have done with my own business? I had an unsustainable pricing model. I had an unsustainable view on employees and creating manuals for my business so that other people could do what I do to the standard that I do it. I had certain little tweaks that I made in 2013 that allowed my business to grow, that allowed me to then be able to spend $6,000 on a bunch of soldering equipment and $6,000 on some video equipment so that I could create a YouTube channel where I go over board repairs, where I could actually start getting into board repairs, where I could actually start advertising that more, where I could start optimizing it more, where that could start that little snowball going down the hill where you then eventually, wind up getting featured by CBC News and then front paging Reddit and so on and so forth. That couldn't really start until I got out of that mindset. And to this day, some of those people, one of those people that was way luckier than I was in the beginning, they sold their business for pennies on the dollar, decided to open a bar right before COVID. You can imagine how that went. Another one of those individuals, well, again, his company got sold to Allstate, made out with millions and millions of dollars. That individual, most likely, it has more money right now than I will over the course of my life. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because getting out of this mindset, getting out of the mindset that you see in this post allowed me to get what I have right now. A business that once I figure out how to actually move to a place other than this current store will be fairly profitable. A really, really good, dedicated staff. A reputation for being one of the best in the industry at what we do. This amazing YouTube channel with all of you as viewers. A great Google reviews page that really just kind of I always had good reviews on Google, but it really started to explode around 2013-14 when I got out of this mindset and started getting more business and being able to serve more customers. It's something I want you to think about. Regardless of whether you like Linus or dislike Linus, or don't even know who he is, that's beside the point. What are things that you could do, that you could work on? What do you have control over? Let's say Linus is lucky. Let's say that you have no chance whatsoever of catching up to him and getting 14 million subscribers. Fine. Can you work on your presentation skills? Can you work on creating content that people actually want to watch? Can you work on any way on yourself to improve in any way, shape, or form so that if you were to post something, someone may find it interesting, even if you do completely bomb on YouTube? Would working on being a better presenter, being a better orator, being better at public speaking, coming up with a likable personality, how would that serve you outside of YouTube? Would that allow you to sell a customer you otherwise wouldn't have been able to sell, get a job you otherwise may have not been able to get, impress someone that you otherwise wouldn't be able to impress, be a better activist, be a better person, be a better friend? I don't know. You won't know until you try. It's probably worth trying. You may fail. You may not do perfectly with it, but what I can guarantee you 100% is that you will always get further than you would if you did nothing at all. And this mindset is, in my experience in life, with all the people I've dealt with, the leading reason that people wind up doing nothing at all. And that's a crying shame. I find it very interesting that so many people out there can write PhD theses on why everybody else was able to achieve something that they couldn't, without realizing that if they had even put 10% of the effort they put into rationalizing other people's luck, into what it is they could improve, what it is they could try doing, what it is they could try learning today, that they might actually get somewhere. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, Mr. Clinton hopes that you learned something. And I know you weren't sitting on my mic preamp because I told you so many times not to. Of course you weren't. Of course you weren't after ruining my freaking AT4050 microphone. You would never do that, would you, Mr. Clinton? You freaking cat. All right. See you all in the next video. Bye now.